Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Jennifer. We're going to do a stitch with me. I hope everybody's doing well today. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. We are working on, it's a new start, but I'll explain that in just a second. But if you're returning, welcome back. So we have a new start. I changed up my rotation again. There's a reason behind this. Crossing Crafts, who I get my CXC floss from, she has made a group on Facebook, and it's called A Series of Challenges and by Crossing Crafts, and she started with the Harry Potter series. So this is what it's going to be. As you guys can see, I printed all this out. I needed to print it out. So basically what it has you doing is you're stitching through each chapter of each book within the 7 original series, and total amount of words and stitches for the whole series is 1,084,170 stitches, words. So you can do this however you want. And so I was just like, oh my gosh. So I'm doing book 1 right now. It's going to take me forever, trust me. What I've decided to do is take all my whips that I have pulled out to work on for this year, and for each book I'm going to stitch one of my whips. So with the Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter, and the Sorcerer's Stone or the Philosopher's Stone, I'm doing one whip, and then it'll go on through the whole thing. I will put this down below, the link to the Facebook group. Mind you, there is no deadline. You're not it go at your pace, and so you can stitch how slow, however you want. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, so that's what that is. I'm just excited, and believe me, when she made the group and posted this, I was like, oh my gosh. I'm already in a Harry Potter cross stitch game group already, so I was like, oh yes. So yeah, so I've already read the first 4 chapters, or listened to the first 4 chapters, and I'm playing catch up now and stitching as I go. So with that being said, I have a new start. I bought I did a thing too. I bought a couple of charts. The first one that I bought is called Mystical Cats. It's a mini from Heaven and Earth Designs, and I'll turn it so you guys can see, but that's what it looks like. And that just, oh my gosh, I thought my 2 cats, I was like, yes, gotta have it. So this is the one I started for book 1, and I'm stitching it on 18 count. It's a mini, and so far I have done 1,300 stitches. So we are going to work on this as I chat with everybody, and yeah. So yeah, this is exciting. You have no clue how exciting this is to be able to do this and not feel like you have to, like, there's a deadline or anything. And if you join, you just make an album and post the picture to your album, and like the picture of the book, which I did, and you work on it however you want. You work whichever way you want to work it, and yeah, and then go from there. And so yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, I'm doing book 1. So I got the idea from somebody else. She's doing a whip for every book, And there are some that are doing it for every chapter. There's some, I can't remember. There was a couple that were just going to rotate, you know, whips every whatever. And not only that, I kind of got challenged by somebody from one of my groups to actually try to finish one. I mean, keep one, make one be a monogamous stitcher for the rest of the year. And I was like, yeah, okay, you just don't understand. So, yeah, I don't know if that's going to work, but we'll see. So right now I'm stitching on Mystical Cats. I'm at the top left-hand corner. And if y'all can't tell, there's the cat. This is the cat. It doesn't look like a cat. I know, I get it. But I'm stitching however it's supposed to be. And why am I... And I'm just stitching it the way it's telling me to stitch it. So it's, yeah, we're having fun. So anyway, so we're just going to continue chatting about the week. But yeah, you all can go check it out. Go check out her challenge group. There's a lot of us that have joined. A lot of people that I know have joined, and yeah, they're really, really excited about it, and I think it's a really cool idea. So, yeah. So let's get started on what's been going on this week. Let me tell you guys, this week has been, I don't even know how to describe it. It has been just like, oh my gosh. It's... I don't even know how to even tell you. The beginning of the week was fine. Last week was all good and dandy. I helped my daughter fill out some paperwork that she needed to fill out to get her disability. And then, between working and organizing and all that good junk. And I had to leave early from work on Saturday because we got a notice on the door from our landlady, and my daughter flipped out. She gets anxiety really bad, panic attacks, and not only that, with her ADHD and depression, it's like, it's one of those things that is just, it's hard to explain. And of course, we've tried to get her disability before. We had one doctor that literally told us there was nothing wrong with her, and which is not the case. And so I rushed home, and the notice was that we were having contractors come in to this month, and they're going to be doing, all kinds of repairs and so forth. And as you guys know, we have emotional support animals in the house. One is mine, one is my daughter's. And they're trying to tell us that even though we have documentation from our therapists stating that, we have these emotional support animals, they would expect us to get rid of one of them. And of course, my daughter kind of she just freaked out. And I was just like, what the heck? So I came home, and it took me a while, but I got her calmed down. And it was too much for her. And I can't say I blame her. And so I talked to the landlord, and she was kind of, what is the word I want to use? I don't want to say flippant. I don't know what the word is I want to use. She acted like she cared, but then again, you know, I don't even know how to describe the word that I want to say because, or to describe it, because I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe it. And so a lot of people, because I guess because I'm one of the oldest tenants here and mainly the longest tenant here, a lot of people are coming to me asking me, you know, or telling me, you know, they want to, you know, sue, blah blah blah. And that's all fine and dandy, but my issue is, you know, what happens when, you know, we get evicted or, you know, whatever. And so I've just kind of not really made a big deal about it. And so then today at work, somebody, one of my other neighbors, you know, we were talking, and she was like, "Well, we called this number, and we haven't had any more problems out of her." And I was like, "Do I really want to cause friction?" And then my other option is moving. I have seriously considered it. It's just because, number one, my rent has doubled. We are on Section 8 income. It goes by our income. And my rent has doubled from 800 to like almost 1,600 bucks. And it's like, you know, and of course, you know, I said something to, you know, the kids. Justin's, you know, kind of like, well, how are we supposed to get to work? And I was like, you all are making my life difficult, you know? And so we're kind of, you know, trying to go through our options right now. Nothing is really been set in stone. We haven't gotten to that point yet. But I'm just to the point now that I understand what, you know, this new landlady is doing. I get it. And but on the other hand, I feel like, hold on, I want to make sure I didn't, okay. I get it. But then on the other hand, you know, she's making life difficult for a lot of people that are worse off than I am. And of course, because, you know, I'm one of the, what do you call it out here? I guess you could say veteran people out here that live here. I totally understand, you know, why people are getting upset. And so, yeah, so we're just kind of like keeping our options open. And I'm, you know, kind of looking to, you know, for another place. And also, you know, going through the process of trying to figure out how I can get, you know, the two cats registered as emotional support animals, you know, legally or whatever you call it. And, you know, that way, you know, we can, you know, kind of, you know, have that to, you know, help. But we're just kind of like, she hasn't really done anything, so I'm just kind of going with it right now to, you know, see what happens. We'll see, because it's one of those things. I don't know. It's just been a lot of emotions all week. And then to top it all off, y'all are going to find this funny. Monday, no, was it Monday? Or was it Sunday? I don't even know what today is. No, Sunday. I was on my way into work. Well, not on my way in, but getting ready for work. And Freya likes to get up on top of the kitchen cabinets. Like I've shown you guys, the picture and so forth. As a matter of fact, that's where she's at right now. And anyway, I was making coffee and all of a sudden I heard this noise. And I was like, what the heck is that noise? Because she was up there. And it was a screeching. And I looked up and sure enough, there was a bat. And she was trying to I don't know what she was doing, but she was smacking it. And I real quick grabbed her, got her, climbed up, got her down and put her up away from the kitchen. So I spent all day long calling, animal control. They apparently were busy and they had some kind of emergency and they couldn't come out. So I was like, are you serious? So one of our local police officers showed up and he was going to help me get the bat. Well, we couldn't find it. So I went to work and I was just like, thinking to myself on the way there, do I really, really want to go to work with this thing in my house and me being at work all day long and take the worst case scenario of one of the cats finding it and something happening. So then, while I'm sitting there debating it on the way in, walking to work, my daughter calls. Mom, there's something wrong with Freya. I was like, what do you mean there's something wrong with Freya? And she's like, she's favoring her right front paw. And I'm like, oh, crap. And I told her why. And she's like, well, then she's been bitten. So I rushed my happy self. I was like, you know what? I'm taking my sick day. Just no way about it. And sorry, I thought Justin was coming out here to tell me something. So I did. I took my sick day and I came home. And come to find out, she had a little sliver of wood sticking out of her paw. So we got it out and I was like, all right, while I'm home for the rest of the day now, I'm going to find this stupid bat. So you all should have seen me. I was tearing my apartment in the kitchen apart looking for this bat. Couldn't find it. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So Miranda and I took a bunch of old towels and started, clogging up the cracks and the crevices between the cabinets. So that way it couldn't get out. Well, I decided to try to get animal control to come back out again. No, not happening. And so finally, I was like, all right, you know what? Well, the second time, I was like, well, I really don't want this in this house because, I don't want to get bit. I don't want one of my kids to get bit. I don't want the cats to get bit. So let's just say it was an eventful Sunday night. So we all went to bed And little dude was out here watching TV because I went in my room to read. And so the next thing I hear, Mom, yes, the bat's flying around. I was like, what? Sure enough, came out into the hallway and there it was. And I'm like, holy crap. Well, Athena just takes off down the hallway. And I'm thinking, oh, goody gumdrops. So she didn't do anything. She didn't even get a hold of it, but still. So my daughter and her boyfriend were in her room, and I banged on the door. And I said, I need your help. So basically, if we kill it, we get in trouble. And I thought, okay, how am I going to get this stupid thing out of the house? So my mother was like, well, you can open the door. And I'm like, Mom, he wouldn't go out. That's the problem. And so we finally, my daughter's boyfriend took my broom and decided, okay, we're just going to, be like Negan from Walking Dead, and we're just going to, go bonkers. So he took a swipe and he knocked it down, knocked it out. It wasn't dead. And he grabbed it and put it on the dustpan and took it outside. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And let me tell you, this was just... And I asked my son, I asked Skylar, I said, where did it come from? And he was like, from behind the refrigerator. So that's where it was behind the refrigerator this whole entire time. And I thought, okay, this is just not, it was just, y'all would have laughed at me because I have never moved so fast in my whole life. And Athena, she didn't even bother to try to jump up to get it. She just stood there and watched it fly around. And she wanted to chase it, but it didn't work. But I'm going to tell you, that bat came flying at me, and I fell to the floor, and it flew back out. Well, by the time it flew back out, that's when my daughter's fiance hit it with the broom. And he didn't kill it, thank goodness. So we got it out of the apartment, but we have no idea how it got in here. We have searched and searched and searched, and I know there aren't any holes in here, but we don't know how it got in here. We have no clue. And I thought, this is just ridiculous. And I did go over and tell her today about the bat, and I said, look, I'm kind of upset with animal control. And she's like, what do you mean? And I told her, she said, well, maintenance is supposed to come out for that stuff. And I said, well, they don't answer the phone. And she said, really? I said, I'm serious. I said, they will not come out. They don't answer the phone. And the last time I had a bat, that I called like 4 or 5 times for somebody to coming out, and nobody came out. And I said, so, I don't get it. I don't know why. And she said, so what happened? And I said, my son and my daughter's fiance got rid of it. I said he knocked it out, and we got it out of the house. And she said, you didn't kill it? I said, no, I'm not that dumb. And but yeah, that was, let me tell you guys, that was an experience, because never in my life. I mean, I have had bats in here before, and and it's been a while since I've had one in here. And had I known that bat was going to be there Sunday morning, it was, you guys have no idea. it was funny. Y'all would have laughed at me. And the funny part about the whole situation is, now this is hilarious, okay? I mean, it may not be funny to you all, but you had to be here. So in the meantime, while I'm, trying to get somebody to come out and help me get this bat, Justin had gotten out of the shower, and he had clothes on, and he opens the door, and he looks out, and he looks at me, and he's like, what is going on? Because he sees me on the floor. And I said, the bat is in the apartment, and it's flying around. And he just looks at me, and he's like, okay. I said, you need to get Athena and put her in my room. And he was like, okay. And he never moved. And I said, do you have clothes on? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, get Athena. Well, little dude grabbed her and brought her into my room. But I'm just standing there laughing because he's dripping wet. And I really, truly didn't think he had clothes on. But I was more concerned about getting Athena and Freya away from this bat. And yeah, let me tell you, it has been, it was funny. And so, yeah, we have, like I said, it's been a roller coaster all week, because between, all this, my landlady being, I don't know what I want to call it, special, extra, I don't know. I have just really, really, I've been stressed out over it. And then, of course, having a funny moment watching them chase this bat. It's, guys, you just have no clue. It's like, so right now we're just trying to decide if, we want to, move or what, because, yeah, I really, really, truly don't know. It's, because there's nothing close to here that we can move to within walking distance, or whatever you want to call it, to where I work. And, yes, I know Uber costs money, but at this point, I truly, 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 I just don't know what else we're going to do. And that's that bats being in my apartment is one reason I want to move. And I'm just really, 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 I'm just, and not only that, we live in a bad neighborhood. So, and it wasn't always a bad neighborhood. When I moved here, it wasn't a bad neighborhood, but it's just to a point now that I really, 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 I'm leaning towards it more than, I'm leaning more towards moving and getting out, and, just having to eventually, I guess, take, Uber or taxi or whatever to and from work, because it's just stressed me out so much. It's not even funny anymore. And, I'm fed up, frustrated. It's a lot. And there's just so much stuff that this new landlady has done that I just can't even begin to tell you. And so right now it's like, okay, what do we do? So we're kind of writing it out for the month and I'm making the decision, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not even sure what we're going to do, because it's just kind of like, yeah, dude, we're not sure yet. It's just, and, trying to make it known, or however I'll put it, letting, everybody know, look, this is the deal. This is what's going to happen. You don't like it, tough patootie, because, it's either that or mommy's sanity. And I just can't anymore. It's, it's a lot. Let me tell you, it's just been a lot. And I'm just not, no, I'm not, I just don't want to do it anymore. So, we'll see. I'm still kind of going with it and seeing what happens. And we'll see. We shall see. But, of course, then I got a laugh last night. Justin came home last night, or called me last night from work. And, he was like, you're gonna laugh at me, okay? Please don't laugh at me. And I said, what is your problem? And he's like, are you sure you're not gonna laugh at me? I said, Justin, what did you do? And he says, well, I have a problem. Okay, what is the problem? My shoes are stuck to the floor in the freezer. How? I don't know. What? So I was kind of like, I didn't know what to say. And I said, dude, how in the hell do you do that? I don't know. Okay. So he couldn't get unstuck. So he ended up taking his feet out of his shoes. And I was just like, oh my God. So I'm still on the phone with him. And he goes up front to the front of the store to one of our customer leads. And he asks her where one of the managers is. And she's like, well, he's helping me right now. Oh. And she's like, why? And so he looks down and he's like, my shoes are stuck. Well, I told her, I said, well, I was on the phone with him. And I said, and all I could do, it was all I could do not to laugh. And she says, yeah, I know. And I was just like, this is, there's just no way to describe this, because, so when he couldn't get help, again, I'm still on the phone with him, and he goes to, back to the freezer, and he's like, I want to go home. I want my shoes. And I'm like, okay. And so all of a sudden I hear him grunting. I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I almost got it. And I was like, you almost got what? He says, my shoes. I was like, oh boy, here we go. So all you can hear is, him pulling at it. So finally, he's like, ha, I got one. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm just dying. I am just like laughing my butt off. And he's like, you think this is funny? And I said, it is. I said, because it's you. It's only you. You would only do this. And so then he goes to put his hand down on, I guess, the floor. And he was like, ew. All I could do was die. I just started laughing. I was like, son, what is your issue? He says, Mom, the floor is nasty wet. I was like, well, dude. And he finally got his shoe. And I'm thinking, oh my God. And I just told him, I said, only you could have this issue. Only you would be the one to get stuck to the floor. And he didn't say anything. And I just, I guess the next 10 minutes after, while after he hung up, I just sat here and just died laughing. It was hilarious. That's all I could do. And I'm just thinking, how did my kid, I don't understand. And I still don't understand how my child, who is almost 24 years old, can be so dense sometimes, because I don't get it. And yeah, and I just don't understand. It's just like, and I asked him, I said, I asked him when he got home, I was like, really? And he's like, what? I said, how do you manage to have these things happen to you? Now, I don't know. Okay. So yeah, that was our little goofiness all week, because let me tell you something. And I told him, I said, I can only imagine the face you had the whole time. And he says, Mom, you just don't. I was like, well, you never know. And it was hilarious, guys, because he just, yeah, that was special. I guess it can't be any worse than the bat being in here, but yeah, he makes me wonder sometimes, I'm telling you. And I just, makes no sense. But anyhow, but yeah, that was our, my two big, exciting, whatever you want to call it, things that happened. And I do ask that you all just kind of, keep us in your thoughts while we try to figure out what we're going to do and what's going to happen, because I really truly don't know. I'm not giving up. I'm sorry. I'm just not giving up my two emotional support cats, because it's just, no, it's not happening. And I'm just not in I just don't know. So, yeah. So, yeah. But anyhow, so other than that, let's see what else has been going on this week. Well, trying to think. Trying to remember what's been going on. Wow. Last week of school was here, and little dude is, I think little dude is ready. And he came home. He had field day today. Of course, he was like, why? Why do we have field day? We had field day when we were in elementary school. Why are we doing that now? I was like, I have no clue. So I had called on my break from work today to see how school was, and he sounded funny. And I said, Bud, what's wrong? I hurt myself. Okay, how did you hurt yourself? And he was like, something about Jim. And I said, okay. And sorry, I'm trying to get the next color. And he was like, yeah, something happened in gym, and he hurt himself, and he had a really bad headache when he got home. And I said, well, take some ibuprofen or Motrin or whatever, and then you can, hold on, guys. I apologize, guys. My neighbor next door, her daughter, that's another reason I want to move. Yeah, she was being special, and I didn't want you all to have that background noise. That's just, not something that you all want to hear. And she's, yeah, she's not nice. But anyway, so, I don't even remember what I was telling you all, but anyway, so, I can't even remember what I was telling you guys about because she got me, I had to pause and then went to look for color in my my master set, and I didn't have it, and then I had to search, and then I completely totally forgot what I was talking to you guys about. So I do apologize because I don't remember. And oh, let's talk about Little Duke. There we go. I remember now. So he's been getting pretty bored, and he's I think he's, you know, glad that it's half day, and the rest of the week is half day. So I think he's pretty much, you know, ready for the year to end, school year to end. He's yeah, he's kind of, sorry, Justin's being loud now, but he's ready for the summer. I think I told him, I told him, I said, well, I'm not, you all need to go back to school. And but today they had field day, as I said, and he didn't feel very good when he got home. He had a headache, so he laid down, and he seems fine now. And I told him, I said, well, you just take a, you know, when I called him on my lunch break, I said, you take, you know, what you need, you take a nap or whatever, and I'll see you when I get home. He's like, okay. So yeah, he's he just kind of started feeling better, you could tell. So he's a little better than he was when I talked to him on the phone. But so he's back there playing a video game and chilling out. And he has to get up in the morning, and I have to get up in the morning, and because I have to work tomorrow and all that fun stuff. And I'm ready for Thursday and Friday because I'm tired, and I've worked 5 days straight, except for Sunday, which I ended up, you know, with sick leave. But I'm just ready for the weekend or whatever, ready for my days off. And yeah, it's been, like I said, guys, it's been one of those weeks. It has been, it wasn't a bad week, but it was just strange, and it's to this point now, it's making me frustrated a little bit about what, you know, our new manager is doing. And it is what it is. So we're, you know, like I said, y'all keep us in your thoughts while we try to figure out, you know, what our options are and what we're going to do, because at this point, I really truly don't know what's going to happen. And we'll see what's going on. So I am going to end it here and get myself some more stitching in on this. And then, yeah, well, I got to make dinner too. I just realized what time it is. And the kids, you know, haven't seemed to be complaining. So, I'll just get me something to eat, I guess, and then relax for the rest of the night. So I'm going to hop off here, and I will see you all next time. I hope everybody has a great week, and happy stitching, and have a good week, guys. Bye, everybody.